Okay, everyone. I think we're back. My apologies. I'm in a hotel right now, away from my home. Internet's probably not the best. We're here. I think we're here. Cancel that. We should be getting some video here soon if you're not already. I think I'm in the correct chat for this. Let me know what you may or may not see. I personally don't see any video yet. On the YouTube at least, I have video in my streaming software. What are we on here? We're already on lap 8. John Wyzorak has a 6/10 lead over Rudolf Stein. I see some video on that side of things. Maybe. Sorry, actually, you know what? I'm going to stop the live playback on mine. It might help my connection. It should be in 720p, 60 frames a second. I lowered it just a bit to maybe help me on my side as well. So here we are. I think I'm just going to talk. If people hear this, great. If no one does, then I'm working on my my talking skills. So let's run this down. Grimy Dog is actually still in there. So the issue that I saw in the beginning of this race was definitely on my side. Connection to the server. Looks like we have lost P19 and P20. Israel Lopez. And who is that? Matthew Richard. So 2 folks are gone. We are down to 18 racers. John Wyzorak, P1, currently on lap number 9 of this race. Rudolf Stein, excuse me, P2, about 1 second behind. P3's Keshan Hall. P4, Andres Endara. P5, ALN. I cannot say that name. I will butcher it, so we are abbreviating him. Sorry to him if he watches this back. P6 is Kerry Arnaud. P7, Nicholas Cortez. Mike Trowicki. P8, Ian McClure. P9, David Wirch. P10, Mohammed Ayudia. P11, Emery Anderson. P12, Mark Sutton. P13, Grimy Dog. P14, Derek McCord. P15, Ryan Pachowski. P16, Andy Morehouse. P17, Sean Patterson. P18. There's your rundown of the folks that are still left in this race. We are currently watching Mike Trowicki try to run down Nicholas Cortez here for P7 as they're going down into the boot of Watkins Glen. So I'm gonna get into a little bit of a rhythm here, and then we will figure out. Actually, we're going to switch back to Mike Trowicki. We will go into the cockpits. So, as you see in front of him, P7, P6, and P5 up there. This group is about 8 seconds behind P4. Hopefully I sound okay. Hopefully the levels are okay. Hopefully you don't hear the game through my laptop as it's coming through my microphone. Who's even here watching this chat at the moment. Let's post this one more time. In here. In here. What are we at here? We dropped a bunch of frames. We're there. Let's move this down to that. That also might help. Sorry, also Mike Trewicki just got hit there by, I'd have to assume, Nicholas Cortez. Let's bring up this. Yes, so Mike Trewicki here, very close to Nicholas Cortez for P7. As they go down into turn 1. And looks like Trewicki has gotten by successfully there for P7, so now he's going to try to run down Kerry Arnaud. I'm still dropping frames, so I apologize, folks. It must just be this internet is not that great. Let me do one last thing to try to help this out. I'm probably trying to broadcast way too high for where I am. Derek McCord with a little slowdown penalty there. As I'm messing with things, let's go auto director. It's going to throw us up to Andres and Dara. And so Derek McCord with the second slowdown penalty. So Andres here is about 2/10 behind Keshen Hall for P3. Keshen Hall in that beautiful Bentley Evo. What else we're going to do? We're going to close Discord. We're going to quit that. We're going to quit that. Quit that. Exit all apps. Sorry, everyone. I am trying to just kill everything I can to keep this somewhat running for you all. I feel bad. So we'll see how we go from there. It looks like we're looking at Rudolf Stein here in the Audi. I'm not sure if that's the Evo or not, but he is in one of the Audis, trying to run down John Wyzorek. There for P1, Andres and Dara here, trying to run down Keshen Hall for P3. As they come through, what is it, the toe to the boot to the heel area. As where John and Rudolph are at the moment at the heel, going up there into P9. About to complete lap 12. So these four here are these two groups of twos are the closest to each other on track at the moment. You can kind of see there in the timings. And who was that? Rudolph has just gone off somehow, some way. And we will stick with him to make sure he can get back out. Maybe just went way too hard through the break point of turn 10 there. Ended up in the gravel. It's going to come back out. Hopefully it's safe. It looks like that was a good safe re-entry. He's now got Ian McClure coming up very hard on him. And it looks like Ian will probably get by with enough speed there down the front stretch. So Rudolph is going to drop into P9 and is still 14 seconds ahead of P10. So he definitely has a whole lot. There's an hour and 38 minutes left. He has a whole lot of time here to make some spots back and maybe get back to even right where he was, depending on how everything shakes out. But as I was saying before Rudolph went off there, things From P3 to P4, you can see there's about 8, almost 9-second gap from the front 3 to P4, where P4 through 6 are all within 1 second of each other. And then it drops to almost 2 seconds to P7, and then 2 more seconds to P8, where Rudolph Stein now sits in P9, so he's very close between 8 and 9 there. But then you have a 14-second gap to P9 from P10, another 13 seconds from P11 to P10. So really from P10 all the way down, it gets very stretched out between each other. So they're definitely stretched out, I guess is the best way to say it. I was trying to think of something better, but it didn't really work out there for me. Alright, we needed that one. I'm not even sure where anyone even is, to be honest with you. Hey, okay, so I see some people here in this chat. I see Theo, I see Mr. Blatcher, I see Amato. So you all might be where I am at the moment, perhaps. My apologies for stuff going a little crazy there. The other stream has ended. I am now on this one. So I've also stopped my video on YouTube, so I'm not sure. I'm assuming you're seeing what I'm seeing, maybe with a little bit delay of how it should be, but if you're in this chat that I'm looking at, which Mr. Blatcher looks like you are, let me know how everything looks or sounds. I'll try to go from there. But either way, I'll kind of now just concentrate on what we're seeing here. Let's go back to Ian McClure. So it looks like Rudolph Stein has gotten by Ian McClure for P8. And as I was saying, so there's a 15-second gap here from Ian McClure down to David Wirch at P10. So if anything even were to really happen with Ian here, he would probably still have a good enough gap back to P number 10. So Kerry Arnaud, we're going to switch up to him here. So these folks are very close, P4, 5, and 6. They've been close for a while now. So we may stick with them here for just a bit. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to Mike Trewicki, and we're going to move to his cockpit. That way we can kind of see everyone in front. As they come down the back stretch to the inner loop bus stop chicane, you can see that they're taking, everyone but Mike here took a lot of the inside curb and outside curb on the entry and exit of the bus stop. Mike lost a little bit of time, but you can see that, you know, there's a lot of slowdowns here within the boot section. A lot of sweeping turns, so it's very easy to hit one perfectly and kind of catch right back up to the folks in front of you if you had a little issue through the inner loop. But we will stay right here for right now, just to kind of see what happens. This is kind of a good angle where you can see P4, 5, and 6 here. You can see Kerry Arnaud there going a little bit wide. I don't know if he was trying to make a move or he just hit too much of the inside curb and kind of pushed him outward. But it looks like he has a heck of a run here on P4 ALN, as well as Mike Trewicki. Hard on the brakes, maybe missed the brake point just a little bit, but a very nice save into the right to not smash into the backside of Kerry Arnaud and potentially take both of them out. not of just an issue. And I can see the chat. Thank you guys for just letting me know how everything looks and sounds. I will cross fingers that we can hold on here for an hour and a half with no other connection issues as I sit here in a hotel in Texas and bring this to you, or try to bring this to you in somewhat of a professional manner. Even though I'm not professional all the time, I try to make these as professional as possible. But these guys here are just in a heck of a fight. They're all they're keeping very close through all these turns. For me, you kind of have to think about, are they racing for position this early, half hour into the race, or are they merely trying to stay alive and clean and kind of stay in line and not really push the envelope too much, since you have an hour and a half left and a lot of things can happen. You saw in the Chevrolet there, ALN, who is now just side by side here with Mr. Trewicki, and who's now fallen behind. So Kara Node has moved up into P4, Trewicki to P5, ALN here to P6 that you're looking at from the backside of Trewicki. And now you can kind of see the back, Rudolf Stein making his way ever so quickly. After falling from P2 down to P9, he is now very quickly trying to make his way back up through the field and is catching 4, 5, and 6 at a very good pace. And we're going to move back up here into these 4. We'll keep an eye on Rudolf Stein as well, on how close he can get back here. But 4, 5, and 6 are very close of Arnaud, Trewicki, and ALN. And this is kind of exactly what I was saying previously before position started to switch up. But there goes Trewicki to the inside very hard. I don't know if there was any contact or not. If there wasn't, there goes some contact between ALN and Trewicki before coming up into P9, or not P9, but turn 9, going up here into P10. So these guys are getting awful squirrely. And kind of just goes with what I was saying earlier with, there's two ways to think of this. Do you want to just stay with someone, stay clean, stay on pace, and then pick your spot, or are you trying to pick up positions as fast as you can to get ahead? And as you see Trewicki go to the inside once again, looks like Arnaud has gone into the wall, so I don't know what has happened there. The camera angle kind of went a little not very good for that, but I don't know if Trewicki caught him on the right-hand side, which pushed him out into the wall. But that kind of just goes with what I was saying. Do you want to race really hard, really tough, with this much time left in, and potentially end up in this situation where Arnaud may have some damage? If he doesn't have damage, he's at least trying to play catch-up now. Whether that was definitely not his fault, with Trewicki going to the inside there, but there's always two thoughts to go about really how to race this. If you're asking me, I'm trying to just stay as clean as possible, then try, if there's enough time left, to really push the envelope. We're going to jump back here a little bit. We've been focusing on 4, 5, and 6 a lot. So here's P13. Emery Anderson down the backstretch has gotten in front of Mohammed. Mohammed doing a little skipping around there. I don't know if that's some ping issues. I would have to say it probably is. I'm not sure what his ping is. I have no way of seeing that, but usually when you start seeing cars skip around like that, it means the ping is a little bit high. Let's hope that doesn't play into any collisions or any bad things, I guess. But it looks like Emery has gotten by Muhammad and is starting to pull away. Derek McCord here is coming up on Muhammad, so this is 12, 13, 14. Mr. McCord here will try to pick his spots, I'm sure, to get by Muhammad if Muhammad is still sliding around like that. That's another thing you have to kind of worry about is the ping of the racer in front of you or behind you. Sometimes that can really play on how you go about a pass or how close you really want to be with someone, because you never know when a car could end up inside yours and just either knock you completely out of a race or throw you off where damage has occurred and whatnot. So there's a lot of things you kind of have to think about. There's 10 people watching. Thank you for watching. My apologies for those who may have been following me around the various streams here, trying to keep one going. I think for right now, I'm crossing fingers that everything is okay with this one. So we'll try to keep it going. $11 people watching now. Nice. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like this one. Like this video. Hopefully this is the one that continues to the end and actually stays up. So if you want to like this, comment on this one, do whatever you want with this one. It'll make me very happy. And it also might make you happy as well. Who knows? So we're going to jump up Rudolph Stein. We saw his fall from grace from P2 back to P9. He has now gotten up to P6 and is looking for a way around into P5. Let's go into the cockpit here. I love the cockpit views. It just really gives you an idea of, number one, what line they're taking, number two, what the person in front of them, what line they're taking, and just how close they're getting, what strategy they may take to actually get around to make a clean pass somewhere in one of these turns. Don't get me wrong, I mean, like the TV style cameras are great, but these I find to be very, very informational of what someone is trying to do. Ian McClure is coming in for a pit stop. So I said earlier that the pit strategy or the pit is open, so folks can take whatever they want to take within a pit stop, whether it be tires, no tires, fuel or no fuel, however they want to go about it. Looks like he's taking all 4 tires, and he will be out and away very soon. We will cross fingers that he does not have any drive-through penalty, as the pit entry is a very quick stop, as you'll see with Rudolph there. All those yellow barrels is where you need to be for your pit entry, and it comes up on you very fast. Very fast. Here goes Rudolph. Let's go cockpit. I don't know what just popped up there. I don't know if that was a slowdown or if that was a drive-through. We will find out here very soon. We're going to follow Rudolph here through, I think that's turn 4 into the back stretch. See if he gets a good run. A little bit of a tow. He might try to go to the inside of the chicane, maybe try to outbrake. He does. He outbrakes. He doesn't hit. Oh! So he went in a little too hot, which I've done myself. And these cars are very hard to turn on a dime, so he had to go extra wide out that way, and he has unfortunately fallen back down to P8. But he tried to outbrake on the inside, got too much curb, way too much speed, lost the back end, and unfortunately that was what caused him to go around and lose a few spots back down to P8. We're going to jump up here to Grimy Dog. Grimy is flashing his lights, maybe trying to throw the racer off in front of him. maybe that's a psychological tactic. You see some lights flashing in your rearview mirror, you get a little tense. You start sweating a little bit. You're not sure what's going to happen. We'll follow Grimy here for just a moment to see if he can get by. He's going to go to the inside, and a very clean pass. It's perfect. Who else did we have here? Emery Anderson, which I believe just lost P11 to Derek McCord, maybe through the inner loop, or at least the outer loop. So we'll follow here for just a moment. I'm not expecting he's too far back to perform any pass there on the inside, but you can see in his rearview mirror there are P13 and 14 coming up. So we have a good train of cars here from P11 to P14. Sticking close, you can see though that the gap between P10 and P11 is 23 seconds. What has happened? We're going to jump up here. Andres and Dara and Keshin Hall are swapping places back and forth here. They're up into P9 and 10, so they're coming back across the start-finish line very soon. Keshin has the inside line. Andres most likely probably backed out to give it to him to try to get him on the next few turns. But with that Bentley, he may pull away just a tad on the front stretch down into turn 1, which he has, so he's almost 9/10 ahead going into turn 1. And that Bentley will absolutely just tear up those S's. And ALN with a spin and a hit and a little crunch on the hood. He may have trouble seeing over top of that, so he may have to switch to a different cam. I know I would if I was in his spot, to at least see where you can go, where you're going, because that's going to be rough. Trying to see over top of the hood that's crunched up even higher. Ryan Przowski. Sorry, I can't say that right. I'll apologize ahead of time. He's working on his teammate, his GRG teammate of Derek McCord here. So this is P11 and 12. Derek McCord there in the sexy Mercedes. And Przowski here coming up in the McLaren. You don't see the McLaren very often. That's I won't say it's a bold choice. That's usually one that's not chosen very often in this game. So it's very nice to see a McLaren on the grid, trying to get by. Let's go cockpit. Where is he going to be? So he's cleared Mr. McCord there, and he is away. Let's go to the reverse and see where Mr. McCord is. There he is. So a little bit of a distance. Clean pass up into P11. Derek McCord goes back down to P12. Looking at the timing screens here. Carrier node. This is who is that? I don't know who that was being lapped. Eddie Morehouse is in the pits. Ryan Przowski with a slowdown. I was trying to see, so that must have been Mark Sutton being lapped by Kerry Arnaud and Nicholas Cortez as they come down into turn 1. And we will stick here for just a second to see how we go here. We're going to follow this probably all the way to the inner loop, maybe even through it just to see. So he's going to get a heck of a run here. Probably dart down to the right as fast. Uh-oh. Oh, both of them took a lot of curb. Oh, a little bit of contact there on the front. We're just going to follow this as far as we need to here. Just looking at the timing screen. these two are the closest battle as of right now. Coming down into the heel. This is turn 8 coming up. Up into turn 9. Won't necessarily say he's backed off, but certainly not as close as what they were in the inner loop. But that might all change here after 10 and 11 down the front stretch. If you can have a great release out of 10 and 11, you can generate a lot of speed across the line like that. That was a fantastic exit out of the corner, which they're going to go side by side into the turn 1, and Courier Node has gotten by. So just like that, he will try to pull away as fast as he can. Let's move up to Andres and Dara. Is very close to Keshen Hall there. We're going to go cockpit again. You're going to find out that I do love the cockpit cam within the broadcasting software. So Andres is trying to outbrake the Bentley a little bit. I can only assume because the Bentley has insane straight line speed. So if Andres can get a good run out of this turn here, he might be able to stay close enough to make a dart to the inside of turn 1. And he won't, he'll kind of just stay behind for the time being. As they go through turn 2 into the S's. 2 and 3. They'll find their way up to 4. Down the back. So this might be where we see, because he's getting close. He's going to maybe try to outbrake on the inside. He did not. Ooh. Curb everywhere by both cars. Oh my. I'm not sure how he's kept that straight. I don't know if that was just extra, like that. Maybe it's extra pings off the curbs as well, but that car should have been spinning around 4 times. Let's move back, Nicholas Cortez. And I'm seeing some jitters from a few folks. Hopefully that's not mine. Connection again. Pray that it's not. Let's move up here. Back to Andres. All right, everyone. Sorry there for a second. I was attempting to log back into the YouTube, only to be able to type to anyone in the chat if I needed to. But we are still rolling, still going. Let's check the timings. Let's move back to Nicholas Cortez and Rudolph Stein here to, what is this? Carrier Nodes there in P5 in the Mercedes, and then you have Rudolph Stein P6, Nicholas Cortez in P7. And while we're at it, let's turn on the compare next car, that way you can kind of see. So we're focused on P7 there. He's about 1 second behind P6, Rudolph Stein in front of him. As we move up, Rudolph is about 4/10 behind Carrier Node, P5. So we'll stay right here for right now. See how this shakes out. Looks like David Wirch is in the pits. So we're going to see what Rudolph tries to do. He's had 2 incidences today, this race. Oh, David Wirch with the drive-through penalty. Let's see how we do here. So you see again David Wirch. I can only guess, but I would have to assume that it's probably speeding on pit entry, with that entry being very short and very close to the end of of turn 11. You almost have to take turn 11 at half speed to be able to navigate your way into the pit entry and to also hit the line, not exceeding the speed limit that's there. So David Wirch will have to go down through the pit lane one more time. We will hope that that doesn't generate another drive-through for him. So here Rudolph might push the envelope. P10, he will definitely, if he can get turn 11 correct, he's going to try to get to the back bumper. Carrier Node here in front of him. Looks like he won't be able to get that close before turn 1. And we'll just follow for just a moment more. So, if you remember, this is where Rudolph had an issue before going through the inner loop with too much speed. He's going to try it again. They have contact. I think they have a lot of contact. As they're beating and banging through the inner loop, they're now side by side. Neither one of these guys will probably give up this space all too easily, so they're going to try to ride this, and they are staying neck and neck all the way through the outer loop, down into the toe, the boot, the heel. Looks like Rudolph had a better entry into what turn is that? Turn 7. So we will leave them for just a moment. Let's jump to John Wyzorak, who's been out here by himself, just tearing the track up. Currently has almost a 7-second lead over Keshen Hall. We're just gonna go on board with him for. I wanted to do a full lap, but we caught him about after turn 1 up to the S's, so he's gone through the inner loop there. we're just going to follow him all the way back around to the start-finish line to really just watch a lap of his. There hasn't been really anyone to challenge him yet. We will see when John comes in for a pit stop, only because you know, folks are close enough that would be able to pass him while he's in the pits. So he would definitely come out somewhere in the mix of all these folks. But I'd have to assume he's maybe probably doing a one stop. We have about an hour, 6 minutes to go. And as you can see, I mean, just a flawless lap there from John Wyzorak, who's now on lap 31 of this 2-hour race. Everyone is mostly spread out, so here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go through the field just to highlight everyone. We can see where they are, what they're doing at the time. So, you know, Andres and Dara here in P2, currently 8 seconds behind John Wyzorak, who's just made his way through P4 into the backstretch, down to the inner loop. Really no one around him. 5 seconds behind Andres here is Keshan Hall, as well you can see from there. So they are within sight of each other at times, as well as Mike Trewicki. No, I'm sorry. So the person behind Keshan Hall is a lapped car. So Mike Trewicki here is 20 seconds behind. And there's actually a pretty close battle here. So Rudolph Stein, once again, has managed to make his way back up. And it's about 2 tenths behind P4. So we will stay here for just a moment. Another good way to highlight. So we'll go with the cockpit view. See where Rudolph maybe picks a spot to get by here. We'll see. But here they go through turn 7, which is called the toe. Now they're in the this is the entire boot section of the circuit. Come up here into P8, called the heel, which flows up to P9 up the hill. And Rudolph got a very good run there. And if he can keep close, then we will probably see some action here after turn 11. Unless one were to dart into the pits. So let's go to the TV cam to see how this goes here. You can see Kerry Arnaud in the background with Nicholas Cortez as well. So we're just going to follow these two for just a moment more. There goes Rudolph to the outside. There's a great shot from the TV camera. Looks like there's a little bit of contact on the back. So Rudolph really wants by. Let's go cockpit so we can see all of this. Mike Trewicki moves to the inside. Rudolph moves to the outside. Here comes the inner loop now. And Rudolph gets wide on the entry and the exit, which obviously adds a little time between them. So I will keep an eye on that. But we will move backwards. Kerry Arnaud here in P6 is watching this battle happen in front of him, so he's really just going to try to stay as clean as possible, as fast as possible, to stay with them, and to maybe hope that you know, there's some incidental contact, and maybe he steals 2 spots. So behind him, you have Nicholas Cortez, who once again is also watching these 3 up above. as they are close enough to be. And then 20 seconds back, you have Grimy Dog in the BMW coming up into the heel of the boot section. And Ryan Prochowski is getting a lot of slowdown somewhere. He's next. Let's see where he is. So in the McLaren here, he is 25 seconds behind Grimy Dog, coming in through the toe of the boot up. I believe that is some lapped traffic in front of him. It certainly is. So he will have to work to get around those folks. Behind Ryan, you have Derek McCord, 13 seconds back. Once again, in the boot section there. And from the looks of his car, I mean, I don't see any damage whatsoever. So Derek has done a great job to keep it on track, keep himself clean, and you know, may have a pit strategy in mind to, you know, find himself in the middle of the P1 through 10. We will have to find out once pits start to happen for some of these folks. Just continuing on, Ian McClure here, 20 seconds behind Derek McCord in P11, who's finding his way up into P9, onto P10. And then we have 54 seconds behind Ian McClure, we have David Wirch. If you remember just a moment ago, he had a drive-through penalty, which I have no way of knowing if he's served it or not. I can only assume that he has. So he is now about 49 seconds behind P11, sitting in P12. 9 seconds behind him is Arjun Lakshmi Narasimhan. Maybe that's correct, maybe that wasn't. I don't know. ALN, as I'm referring to him. 9 seconds back in P12 as he comes through the boot. He and Emery Anderson in P13 are very close. And that McLaren is a lapped, well, not lapped, but that is a car trying to get by lap traffic of Ryan Przalski. And I will say I'm butchering a lot of these names. I know it, and my apologies for that. But having Ryan get by there has opened up a gap of about 2 seconds from Emery there. And now they're moving up to P11 because Mark Sutton, Ian McClure has come in for his pits. I know Mark, I believe, was just in, maybe not. But he's 55 seconds now behind Ian McClure, who's in the pits. So depending on how long Ian sits there, Mark might either get very close or get back ahead. Mike Trewicki is also in the pits for his pit stop. And that time is just building between himself and Derek McCord in P7. Sean Patterson is 5 seconds behind Mark Sutton in P14. I see a lot of... All right, so here are a lot of pit stops. Rudolph Stein and Kerry Arnaud coming in together. Nicholas Cortez coming in along with them. So this is P3, 4, and 5, all in the pits at the same time. What's happened to... Oh my goodness, John Wyzorak. It looks like he has disconnected, which is unfortunate. Grimy Dog disconnected about a lap ago probably, and Mohammed has also disconnected. So that is quite a shame there for John, as you now have P1 through 5 all in the pits. And it's like the first one to come out is going to be Nicholas Cortez. Nope. Andres Indara is the first one out. which moves Ryan Przalski into P2. Keshan Hall out of the pits is now in P3 with some damage on the front of his Bentley. Kerry Arnaud is still in the pits getting 4 tires. Nicholas Cortez still in the pits. Rudolph Stein is out on the move, so he will get ahead of Kerry Arnaud, who's just come down off the jacks with 4 tires. So Rudolph Stein, Kerry Arnaud, and Nicholas Cortez, 5, 6, 7 coming out of there. So John, I'm sorry to hear that you were kicked. And for Mr. Blatcher asking, so within the broadcast software, it's really just a web page that flows into the game where you can see everyone, click around, click all the different cameras and everything. It does not keep when or if people have pitted. You kind of have to just, you can kind of tell when folks are in the pits. Yellow flags will start showing up along their names, and they'll kind of gray out, so you know when they're pitting or if they're in the pits, but it doesn't keep track of anything. So if people pit like 3 times, you really don't know unless you click on them. There is that second monitor program. So if I was running that as a spectator in the server, it would show me when people are in the pits, and then it would also keep track of their lap times so you can see when they've pitted. So there really is there's really not a great way of keeping track of that unless I'm writing down, unless I have someone sitting here beside me being an analyst, writing everything down for me on when people have pit. So so John, as ashamed to hear that you've disconnected with about an hour to go. You were well on your way to probably pulling away with this, as well as Grimy. So those two have gone out. So your new leader, Andres and Dara, about a 2-second lead from P1 to P2. Ryan Przalski, I don't believe, has pit yet. So he might shuffle around whenever he decides to pit. So we'll follow him for just a bit, and then we'll see what else everyone else is up to. So I see some other people jumping into the chat. Welcome. Glad that you're here. If you haven't liked the video already, go ahead and like it. This is probably the 2nd or 3rd stream of the evening to be up with my various issues. So thank you to those that have followed along from stream to stream. Thank you to those that have just joined or that are joining throughout the evening. We have, 53 minutes to go. About a 3.5-second lead from P1 to P2. And everyone else is very spread out. So Richard, Derek McCord within the software went gray. So that basically meant like he was off pace. So I knew that he was probably in the pits. And that's kind of how I was saying it's really the only way you can tell within this software, at least. You also can't tell what they've done. So if the camera is close enough to see the front go up only, or the back go up only, or the entire car go up, that's where you kind of know what wheels they're taking. You can just see there how Derek's entire car came up onto its jack, so he's taking 4 tires. But the software tells you nothing about fuel take or tires or whatever, and that might be only because if someone's savvy enough and have a second computer, you could probably know what folks are doing. You could kind of snipe, as the kids like to say. You could stream snipe, figure out what people are doing to maybe alter your strategy. So, where are we? Oh, so right there, Derek McCord drive-through penalty. That is a killer, as he came out in 10th. They have to go through again. He'll definitely drop a place to Emory Anderson in P11, but he might only lose 1 spot, having a 41-second gap to P12 and Ian McClure. So let's kind of do a reset, I guess. After a few rounds of pit stops, not a few rounds, but at least folks have gotten in and out of the pits. Your new P1 leader, with the unfortunate drop of John Wazorak, Andres Ndara, who currently has a 5.2 second lead over Ryan Prezers. I'll just call him that from here on out. Prezers, his nickname maybe. But he is now sitting in P2, about 5.9 seconds behind. I don't believe he's pit yet, so we'll see him go into the pit at some point. You can see that he's getting maybe his tires are starting to go as he's kind of going wide in certain areas. But he is gonna push on. Just ride the tires right off that car. I think that's Keshan Hall there in P3 flashing his lights. He might be flashing his lights at that lapped car in between these two. Trying to politely say, please get out of the way. But you can see, I'm not sure what the heck's going on there, but you've got Ryan in P2 kind of getting in front of the lap car, maybe using him as a blocker. But Keshan Hall has gotten by. And with that Bentley, using all the curb. And Ryan's going to go a little bit wide there, so Keshan will grab P2 on definite fresh tires, or fresher than what Ryan has. So that might have played into the ability to pass. Ryan will definitely have to come in fairly soon. P4, Rudolph Stein, which is a very good comeback from, let's see, he went into the gravel between turn 10 and 11, kind of earlier in the race when he was still close to John Wazorak. And then he had a slight spin in the inner loop area, probably just going in a little too fast. So now after a round of pit stops, he has made himself back up into P4. I can only assume that he will be in P3 because nick of time, just like that. So Ryan Przalski has come in for his pit. So Rudolph Stein will inherit P3, carry our node while Ryan sits in the pits. Carry our node will move up into P4 as he now comes around P11. And I don't even think Ryan has gotten to his pit stall yet, no. So depending on how many tires he takes, I would assume all 4 and maybe some fuel. He might be sitting there for 40 seconds, 45 seconds. I won't time it, but Nicholas Cortez has gotten by, so he has moved up to P5. Mike Trewicki here is going to push as hard as he can here through turn 10 and 11 down the straight to see if he can pick up P6 from Ryan in the pits. And it looks like he will. He will. I don't know what's happened to Ryan. His car is no longer there. David Wirch is still within, back here in turn 8, P8 turn 8. Okay, there's Ryan. He was just sitting further back than I expected. So Ryan's going to come out in P7. David Wirch will be about 23 seconds behind in P8 as he's just now coming through turns 10 and 11. 3 seconds behind him is the ALN, and he's about 2.9 seconds. I think that's Mark Sutton. In between those two, I'm not sure why he's following him all the way down there. Maybe for a little extra boost, a little extra tow. But that was a little weird. Derek McCord is now serving his drive-through penalty that he picked up just a bit ago. I had kind of forgotten about that. So Emery Anderson there has inherited P10, but this is going to be exactly like what I had said, where McCord will still come out in front of McClure, so he will only really lose one place. You don't like to lose any places, obviously, but to only lose one place on a drive-through, there could have been worse outcomes from that. So Derek McCord is now 9 seconds behind Emery Anderson, sitting in P11. Due to the drive-through, Ian McClure is about 15 seconds behind Derek McCord in P12. We then go about 57 seconds. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. I need fluid. About 58 seconds. Behind Ian McClure is Sean Patterson, who is just now coming through turn 8, the heel, up into turn 9. So about a minute behind in P13. P14, Mark Sutton. He is about 2 seconds behind P13. I am unsure. Let me check. There you go. So very quickly, you can see that all the way from about P8 down to Mark here in P14 are a lap down. It doesn't show that now for P10 all the way up to 8 because they just passed the start-finish line. They're not necessarily a lap down, but they are they're at the very tail end of the lead lap. So Derek McCord is the first one a full lap down. But then there you can also see the timings between the people. So Andres Sandara, P1, 8 seconds back, Keshen Hall. 28 seconds back from him, Rudolph Stein. 31 seconds back, Kerry Arnaud. And it just goes on from there. We are now down to only 14 people in the race, with some unfortunate dropouts, either due to the server acting a little weird, ping, damage, whatnot. So we'll move it back to this. Let's see what the chat's up to. So chat, good to see you guys in here. Some of you have been here from the beginning. Some are just now joining. Grimy, sorry to see that you dropped out. Not that you dropped out, but you had an issue that forced you to disconnect. So, welcome guys. Hopefully you're enjoying what you're seeing and hearing. Make sure and like the stream. Make sure to pass it on to other people. If you know other folks that are into sim racing, that may not be into RaceRoom, or that may be into RaceRoom that hasn't found the the North America Race Room community. Pass it on to them. Send them the link. Like, subscribe, comment. Get your notifications set up. Join the Discord. As most of you know in this chat right now, we're doing stuff all the time, everywhere. It feels like. So spread the word. Oh, I just realized I'm kind of still on Mark Sutton, so my apologies to you guys watching. Let's just go auto director. I'm not sure who's going to throw it to, so let's go throw it to David Wirch. He is about 1.2 seconds behind ALN there in P8. David running that gorgeous blue PlayStation livery. Looks good on that BMW. Very very menacing with the yellow headlights. Very slick. So some of you all that might be new to the streams and to how this works, so right now this software is in what's called the auto director mode, and that basically means that the software will pick like who it wants to focus on, and it knows who to focus on based on the timings between the positions. So it's focusing here on David Wirch in P9 because he's the closest to the next position in front of him of, what is it now, about 2.5 seconds, where everyone else is very spread out. So if you see a lot of clicking around or moving around to people, that's me doing it. If you kind of see it where it stays on one person for a long time, that's either A, I have forgotten to move it off someone because I get to talking or looking at something, or B, the auto director is doing the hard work for me and really just deciding who to show you. So that's also, if you ever watch a video that doesn't have me talking the entire time, so if it's actually on auto director the entire time, that's why it may have trouble kind of switching around to all the various people in the server because of just the times between each position. So sometimes in a race it might focus heavily on P1, P2, whoever's very close, or it might go the opposite end of the spectrum and not focus anywhere near the leaders and focus on either the middle or the back end, just due to however close the racing is. So if you're ever upset about how the auto director works, just know that that's how the software is built. That was not how I did it. That's just what I have to work with. But when I do this, I try to focus on everyone at least a little during during the race. That way, I don't want anyone to feel left out. Me, I like to see myself in these, even from a broadcast TV camera angle. I like to see myself at times. And I know other folks do too. So when it's me doing this, I spread it around to try to get everyone at least in there as much as possible. Because we're all in this, we're all doing this, we're all racing, we're all trying to have fun. So I'm trying to highlight everyone. That way no one feels left out. I don't want anyone to feel left out when it comes to these streams or videos or anything like that. So see the times. What we got here? I don't know. Everyone's very spread out after the pit stops. Carrier node. Where's he at? Let's turn 8. He's about 5 seconds behind Rudolph Stein in P3. Back to pit stops, we saw some folks pit with about, an hour and 11 minutes left. I'm really unsure if we're going to see any more pit stops. We might, I guess. Maybe a quick splash and dash with, whatever 20 minutes time remaining. I don't know. But so it may be down to whoever can keep themselves the cleanest on track with no hiccups, to keep their position. So not that these next 37 minutes might be boring, but it might just be down to who can stay level-headed, who can stay clean, who can stay with the pace they need to stay with to keep the position they have. Mike Trewicki with a slowdown. He's back in here in P6. Where's he at? He's in the Porsche, however you want to say it. So what's Mike? Mike here is about 17.5 seconds behind Nicholas Cortez in P5. I see no damage to his car, so he's definitely stayed very clean. Maybe a couple off tracks, a couple slowdowns, but that's bound to happen with 2 hours worth of racing. So let's look at the next timings. Let's find someone else. Let's move it around. What do we got? Caranote is about 6.5 seconds behind. P3 still. David Wirsch here is about 3.7 seconds behind. P8. Once again with those menacing green or yellow headlights. Derek McCord, after serving his drive-through penalty, is still in P11 and about 11 seconds back from P10 with Anderson there. McCord is he's a Mercedes man. I will say the Mercedes is a beautiful vehicle, especially this one. I don't know if I think he's in the Evo. Yes. Well, yeah, that's one of the new liveries, so he's definitely within the new Evo that dropped last month, I believe. The ADAC 2020 pack. So he's coming up on Mark Sutton there, and well, I wonder what's happened. So Sean Patterson was in front of Mark Sutton. So I'm not really sure. Sean Patterson may have done maybe another pit stop somewhere along the way that put him 50-some seconds behind Mark Sutton. But I know Mark was in P14, now he's in 13, so something switched them around. What that is, I do not know. Let's check in on Ian McClure. Under 10 seconds, about 8 seconds to Derek McCord in P11 there. So the one thing really for this entire race is that no one's had to deal with any of the P2 class zipping around, being almost 10 seconds quicker per lap. So these guys really just, for the entire race, were able to focus on battling each other in GT3 cars, trying to stay clean, trying to stay consistent. And they had no higher class throwing any blue flags or trying to get around them or making them slow down to, get by and whatnot. So that's a plus, at least for everyone that's still in here or that was in here. I'm a fan of multi-class, so I definitely would have loved to see some P2s, but hey, we can't have everything all the time. So maybe next week we'll see what it is. Maybe it'd be multi-class. Maybe it'd be a good multi-class to really spice things up. I don't know. Pedro, I'm just now seeing it, but have a good evening wherever you might be. Thank you for sticking with me here through the difficulties. We'll see you next time. So my apologies again. I think I've been stuck on Ian for a bit as I was just randomly talking about things. Looks like the closest battle there is Carry Our Nodes still P3, about 6 seconds behind, or I'm sorry, Carry Our Nodes in P4, about 6 seconds behind P3 Rudolf Stein. Let's see, Rudolph's in a Audi. Just trying to see. So, I mean, they're relatively, they're 6 seconds. They're relatively close. There is a lap car in between them. All right, everyone. Sorry about that. I was looking at a few things. I see a time as somewhat close back here. Derek McCord about 3 seconds behind Emery Anderson. What happened to? So unfortunately, I must have missed something. Derek McCord has gotten himself back in front of Ian McClure. for P10. So kind of righted that drive-through where he lost a spot. So now he's back to where he was before the drive-through, and is about 2.8 seconds behind Emory Anderson in P9. We will follow him for just a bit. We will go cockpit because I like the cockpit view. You get to see the inside of the gorgeous Mercedes with that long arm AC unit. So he has him in sight. He can see him. He can smell the blood in the water, per se. If he can keep no issues, no incidents here for the next lap or two, he might be fairly close to try to take P9 away. What are we down to? 26 seconds. So it's probably a given there's going to be no more pit stops. Unless someone's coming in for a 5-second pit stop of the minimum needed fuel for the rest of the race. But I don't even know if anyone will really do that. I would think 2 full fuel tanks would be able to get you to the end. John, you're asking about the fastest lap. Fastest lap. The fastest lap was yours. You were with a 146.12. But the fastest of folks still in there, yes, is Andres with a 146.275. Alright, so we will still keep it here. Derek McCord closing the gap on Emory Anderson. About 1.4, 1.5 seconds behind. Just looking at the timings. This is the closest 2 cars on the track at the moment. At least 4 positions. I'm sure there are some lapped cars in the middle of some folks out there. You just saw pop up the Andres and Dara with a slowdown. That will not really affect that 12-second gap he has there to second place. Let's say Sean Patterson with a slowdown somewhere. But as you can see, that car in front of Derek McCord is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I would have to assume that here within the next half a lap, we should be seeing Derek get by P9. Let's move to the TV camera so we can catch all the Mercedes in its glory as they come up into turn 9. That ever so slow turn 9 up into turn 10 to turn 11. And back to the street. Derek is flinging that car around. It was nice. So let's move real fast to the into the dash cam so we can see how close they really are. He kind of goes to the inside. Emery goes wide. This is going to allow Derek to get a little bit of a run. Here they come on the inside. Derek gets a lot of curb, gets a little dirt. Has not cleared Emery just yet, and now has done so before they get to the backstretch. So we're going to follow this just to make sure how they do at the inner loop. As you can see them hit the brakes, and really no problems for either one of them. Solid work. Now you can see that P11, Ian McClure there, is only about 1.2 seconds back. So 9, 10, and 11 have really closed themselves up together here to be the closest battle for positions at this point in the race. So we're going to stick with these three to see how they do. And Ian here has really closed the gap to Emery in P10. So I don't know if the tires are really starting to drop off for him. I don't know if that's going to mean any type of pit stop, or if he's just going to try to ride him out for the last 20 minutes. Probably about 13, 14. What times are they running? They're running 140, so 1.5. Maybe about 15 laps left? 14, 15 laps. But here we go. Ian McClure, get close to Emery Anderson all the way through. Oh my, wow. Pretty sure Ian's car is completely off the ground, kind of floating there over the curbs, but he has managed to get by. And that's also the Porsche. Where's that? That's Mike Trewicki, also intertwined with these 2, 3. So he's P6, kind of weaving his way around P10 and 11 there. So impressive and dangerous, as something may have happened to hypothetically, like, could have taken him out if Ian and Emery got together and somehow collected him as well. So he's cleared the danger, but there was some danger there. I see 13 people still watching, so thank you to you all that are currently watching. Almost 10:45 on the East Coast. I am an hour behind, so it's only 9:44 here. I can feel it. I've been up for a long time today already. But hey, we're watching some racing. So what's happened here? So Ian McClure has gotten in front of Derek McCord, who's now dropped to 10th. Emery Anderson getting a run to potentially get back in front of Derek McCord. So these three here are just kind of cycling through each other for positions. Which would be exciting if you're one of these three in the race. So you have 18 minutes to do some battle. and see what happens here. As you go through T1, everyone with a good, clean exit there. No one going too wide, up into 2, into the S's, which is really just flat out. Up into turn 4, another flat out. Into the backstretch, but you're flat out for most of it. Until you come close enough to the inner loop to hit the brakes. Go inward, outward, back inward. So if you can't tell, I'm kind of just watching at the moment. Not really talking. Just getting caught up in it. Emery is doing all that he can here to get to the back end of Cord's Mercedes, potentially get by. He's sticking with them. As we just go under 15 minutes left. What's going on, Rangy? 0 P2s. All GT3s, Rangy. We had a couple P2s in practice. Like, I think we had the most was 3, and then everyone kind of just went out and came back as a GT3. So this is a pure GT3 race. I said earlier that it would have been nice to see some P2s, only because I'm a fan of multi-class, but you know, people have to race or stick with they're comfortable with, so. Hey, what's going on, Chris? Let's see. We're still here with Emery. He is still the closest to anyone for position. Derek McCord there, less than a second ahead. Rangy Andres is from Ecuador, so that is an Ecuadorian flag. Flying high in P1. Grammy, I'm happy to hear that. I wish you were still in this instead of having to hang out with me here on the stream. I wish you were still in here racing. But thank you for the kind words of being entertained by my rubbish commentary at times. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of who we can switch to. Let's just check in on our leader. How about we do that? So, Andres Andara is your P1 leader. He inherited that from John Wyzorak, who unfortunately got dropped due to a disconnect. Probably not from ping, maybe from ping. Either way, John was disconnected, so Andres became your P1 leader. He since then hasn't really had any issues with much. You stayed out of trouble. You stayed ahead. Kept a 15-second lead through all the various pit stops by everybody. I believe everyone has only done one pit stop. There may have been multiple pit stops by some of the folks down in the bottom positions, but mostly everyone has had one pit stop. We've had a couple of drive-throughs. Derek McCord had a drive-through. David Wersch, I believe, had a drive-through. But other than that, it's been fairly clean. Some slowdowns, which is bound to happen. A couple spin-offs, but no major problems really during this race. So, Elo Fuddrucker. Rangy, where am I? No, I was not. I'm not in the broadcast booth, only because I had issues earlier in the stream of keeping it going. I'm currently in a hotel in Texas, in big old Texas. So the stream was going for a bit, and I lost connection to everything, so then I had to restart everything. So I completely just quit out of Discord. I quit everything that I didn't need up just to keep this thing running. So I'm not in the broadcaster's booth. I have not seen Scott either. So Scotty G, the sultry sounds of Scotty G. Yeah, Rangy, I am smashing the hotel Wi-Fi. No doubt. There probably is no connection for anyone else at the moment because I am sucking all the bandwidth. All right. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Need to get off Andres. Sean Patterson. Oh. So say Sean Patterson has, I don't know if disconnected or he's basically a DNF with only like 10 minutes to go. That is a shame. That's heartbreaking. That's happened to me before. Go for an hour and 50 minutes and then something happens where you cannot finish. That is sad to see. So we are now down to 13 people out of 20 who started. Let's see. We were on Andreas, so we'll just roll through folks here. I'll try to catch if anything important happens. But Keshan Hall here within the beautiful Bentley Evo, looking like a snake or a reptile or whatever you might want to call that. Here in P2, he's 18 seconds behind P1. A little damage to his hood, so he must he's gotten into trouble somewhere along the way, but still managing to keep P2. Rudolph Stein back here in P3. He has been up and down like a yo-yo. So to his credit, he is back up into P3. I think the lowest he's been at one point was P9. After, what did he do? He went into the gravel after turn 10. He had a half spin within the inner loop. So he's kind of been all over the place. But like I said, he is on a podium. So if everything goes okay for 7+ minutes, you'll have P3 locked up. Kerry Arnaud 16 seconds back from Rudolph in P4. Driving that Honey Boo Boo livery Mercedes, or Harborough, whatever it is. I believe that's just candies, isn't it? Those gummy candies. I've lost all sense of everything at the moment. Moving back from Kerry Arnaud, 22 seconds back to Nicholas Cortez, sitting here in P5, coming through the boot at the moment. Clean car, no problems. First timer, at least. I don't know if he's a first timer for GRG as well, but it's the first time that Mike Trewicki here has taken part within at least an endurance race or any type of race really with it that has been involved with the North American RaceRoom. His team is obviously with the GRG, so he may do some other sims with them, but has done fairly well, sitting in 6th place, keeping it clean, keeping it on there, just keeping his head down, focusing, and going. His GRG teammate, Ryan Przowski, in the McLaren, sitting at P7, 34 seconds back. I said earlier, you don't see many McLarens. I'm happy to see a McLaren. I like the McLaren. It's a gorgeous car. It's fun to drive, too. But you don't normally see it within the GT3 races. Hardly ever. You see a lot of, obviously what you see, the Mercedes, Audis, Bentleys, Chevrolets. We got one McLaren represent. Just checking in on the chat here. Moving back from Ryan, you've got ALN here in P8. NARR Simon, maybe. I've butchered that name all night. But he's in P8. I think he's been up and down through the top 10 positions throughout the evening. But he's still rolling, still within the top 10 at the moment. No crushed hood. As I say that, he goes into the wall a little bit, so those tires might be giving out very quickly for him. P9, Ian McClure, 5 seconds back, so he's trying to get closer, and he probably will get closer after the P8 hit the wall there a little bit after turn 9. You saw Derek McCord coming hard and fast. I should rephrase that, but I won't. In P10, 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds back to P9. Derek has been running a great race. He's been involved with P9, P11. He's been up and down through those spots, finding himself in P10 at the moment. That's P10 even after a drive-through, where he lost a spot, gained it all back, and here he is. So, just like kind of 95% of the field right now, he's running a clean race, trying to keep pace, trying to keep consistent, just trying to go. About 2 seconds back, as you see in the screen, coming through the end of the inner loop, you got Emery Anderson. He is one of the newer faces, newer racers, at least with the North America RaceRoom community. So it's good to see. He's still out there running P11. He's been, along with McCord, kind of fighting for 9 through 11 through most of this race. So he's about 1.2 seconds back. You have 3 minutes to go. You know, full send. See what you can get without taking anyone out, of course. P12, David Wersch. I've commented on that PlayStation Blue livery just a bit ago. It's still gorgeous. Still. He is about 42 seconds back from P11. Doing all that he needs to do to get to the end. And then your final place out on the track, P13, Mark Sutton. Rolling in the Callaway Corvette. I believe Mark is 1 lap down, but barring any catastrophes, he will finish in just 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And as you just saw, Emery Anderson has gotten by Derek McCord, so we will follow this for a bit. Let's move into the cockpit. Get your bingo cards out, because I'm going to say it again. I love the cockpit view. We're just going to go. I'm not going to say much. I'm going to let this play out. What's going on here? What's going on here? Let's see. I see the chat. Yeah. So I will move to Trewicki here in just a moment. They're probably on their final lap. Let's move there right now. Where are we? So Trewicki's about 3 seconds back. They're just going to be coming to their final lap of the race. Let's move back to the board real fast. This is where the action is for the moment. See if McCord can get that place back without committing a murder. Gets a little on the inside. Probably got a little bit of dirt. I think he got some dirt on the inside there. He's lost a little bit of time. About 5/10 back now. We will keep eyes on number 1. You all might hate me here for a second. Where is... Oh, so no, that is not the final lap. That's the final lap. So everyone's going to have another lap on where they are. Derek McCord's there. All right, so now we're heating up. So here's Rudolph Stein for P3, trying to get to P2. About 6/10 behind Keshen Hall in the Bentley. So now we're going to be fast and furious on the click. Auto director can take a break. Here's where I step in to do everything. Derek McCord, close. TV time. They are going to be neck and neck coming through. Oh my. Still going. Still neck and neck. Looks like Derek McCord has it for the moment. Emery pushing back. Let's jump up to Rudolph here really fast. Only because this is for a podium position. They were coming through down into the toe. That was turn 6. They're coming in here into turn 7. Keshen's going to try to drive the wheels off that Bentley, same as Rudolph in his Audi. Here they go up the hill to turn 8. Where is he going to put it? Where is he going to put it? Tries to go to the outside. Turn 9. Too much. Oh, hit the wall. Brushed up against the wall. There's your P1. My apologies to him for not catching where that was. Looks like Keshen Hall is going to hold on to P2. There's your P2 and your P3 coming across the line. A little light flashing. Perfection. Mike Trewicki here, trying to grab something from Nicholas Cortez, trying to grab a P5 at the very end of this. Will he have enough? He's about 6/10 back. He's gonna try to push that Porsche, everything he's got. Coming into turn 10 and 11. And he's not gonna have enough. Wow, Cortez went very shallow there. So here comes across P5 and P6. Ryan Brzezowski has crossed already for P7. Here comes your P8 ALN. That's the best way that I can say it. followed by Ian McClure there in P9. Derek McCord scores a P10 with Embry Anderson very close behind. Everyone has finished. John Wyzorak still with the fastest lap. Andres Sindara, your winner, P1. Keshan Hall, P2. Rudolph Stein, P3. Kerry Arnaud, P4. Nicholas Cortez, P5. Mike Trewicki with a P6. Ryan Przowski, P7. ALN, All Night, P8. Ian McClure, P9. Derek McCord, P10. Embry Anderson, P11. David Wersch, P12. Mark Sutton, P13. And then an unfortunate DNFs from there on out. Sean Patterson, John Wyzorak, Grammy Dog, Mohammed, Morehouse, Lopez, and Richard. So a whole lot of stuff there. Thank you, Rangy. Thank you, Nigel. Rangy, you have a great day over there. And we'll see you on the next one, maybe Saturday or Sunday for you, one way or another. So as I type, thank you all to those who hung out for the duration of this. Thank you for kind of jumping through some hoops with me to actually get a stream to stay. But thank you for the kind words for my commentary, or at least for the stream. I am certainly not a professional with this whatsoever, but you know, I just try to make it fun, try to keep it interesting, try to keep the software on wherever the good action is, but also then try to showcase everyone in there at least a little bit. It's just the best way to do it, at least I think so. But you know, thank you for watching. Make sure to like if you've liked already. Thank you for that. If you thanks, Grammy. I am no pro, that is for sure. Full amateur here, amateurish at best. And everyone have a great night. Dan, have a good evening. See you very soon. What's today? Wednesday, maybe Friday, Saturday night. Grammy, have a good evening. See you next time as well. But if you watch this later on, if you're watching the replay of this, you know, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a dislike, you know, whatever. Subscribe to the channel. Pass it on to anyone that you think might like this stuff, or is a casual racer, or does this all the time and wants to race with people in the North American, South American time zones. We do stuff on Mondays. We do stuff on Wednesdays. We do stuff on Fridays, on Saturdays, on Sundays. We sometimes do things in different games. Wreckfest, ACC, Automobilista 2, and of course RaceRoom. So we do things everywhere. In the description of this video, there is a link to the Discord community where we all chat all day, every day, it seems like. And that's the beauty and the fun of it. So we are here to promote a good time, to promote a fun time, to promote good, clean, smart sim racing. I mean, that's really all we're trying to do. So I think I've run out of things to talk about after 2.5 hours, it feels like, of this. So, you know, I'll end it with, you know, once again, just a big thank you from me, just to hang out and to allow me to, you know, talk. I guess it's really all I'm doing. It's really just talking. I have no professional insight to this stuff whatsoever. But here we are. People seem to enjoy it. If you hate it, let me know too. I'll do something to change it if you hate something. Criticism is just as good as praise. in my book. So if you don't like something, let us know. We'll fix it or we'll try something different. But either way, I'm going to end this and see you maybe Friday evening for the fun races within the community. Probably see you Saturday night for the next long race once the schedule comes out tomorrow. So yeah, we're everywhere. But as always, have a great evening. If you're watching this tomorrow, have a great day. Be safe, have fun, and let's go. Let's go racing. All time, every time.